Ellie.
And Jesse. And this is Design for Adventure.
We're a married couple figuring out family travel, Disney trips, running races, parenting,
And how to make adventures actually work in real life.
Yes, we travel with our kids.
And still manage to have a good time.
And if you love making memories and want an adventure that fits real life, you're in the right place.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Design for Adventure. And we're going to be talking about Disney this episode, featuring both of us this time. Now, I personally am not a big fan of Disney for a variety of reasons. I'm not a big amusement park person to begin with. And to me, everything just seems ridiculously expensive. But full disclosure, I have never been to Disney, so I suppose I should probably go before I make statements like that. So, with that being said, Ellie, why do you like going to Disney?
First, Disney's a theme park, not an amusement park. It's a big difference.
Same thing.
No, there's a difference.
I don't want to wait in lines all day long and be around a ton of people waiting in lines. Same thing.
There's so much more to do than waiting in lines. Oh my goodness. Okay. So much to talk about today. So, why do I love Disney?
Yes.
So now, as a mom, I love how family-friendly it is. So I love that I can walk into the Disney bubble and everything is designed for families. It is designed for young kids. It's designed for parents with kids. It is rides, shows, food, transportation. It is all for families. So you can kind of just go in and know that as a family, you don't have to find things to entertain your kids. You don't have to bring extra stuff. You don't have to explain things differently. It is already set up for them. And I love that. As an adult, it's probably a lot of nostalgia. I love going to, your childhood movies are coming to life in front of you. The shows are good. The entertainment's good. I enjoy the rides. They're fun. They're catchy. The food is good. Actually, there's some really good drinks too, especially when you get to like Epcot, going around the World Showcase. And I just have fun. I do enjoy the races. They always do a good job with the entertainment on the races. They're never boring.
Well, I'm still not convinced, but let's get into planning a trip. Do you use help?
So I do. Sometimes I'll work with a travel agent. Other times I'll plan it myself. It kind of just depends on what the trip looks like, who's going. If I plan it myself, it's probably because I booked a room using DVC points or Disney Vacation Club, which is Disney's timeshare program. So I don't use a travel agent with them. But if I'm looking to book directly with Disney, I'll use a travel agent just because they can work and get discounts that I'm probably not going to be tracking, and help plan some of that stuff. So like our trip in January, which hopefully you're still going to come on, I'm using a travel agent for the first half of our trip just because they'll be able to find the discounts for me. I do like planning my own trip because I do like having that control and being able to cancel if I need to.
You like being in control? Really?
Yes, but I do recognize that I don't have the same capabilities as a travel agent who does this full time. So I like being the one who books a lot of the things, the dining reservations, the lightning lanes, and all of that.
So, back to the point I made in my preamble there about it being ridiculously expensive. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the cost.
So it can be a significant cost, but it can also be done on a budget. The thing is, I don't always do it on a budget. Especially that last trip I took with the kids was not a budget-friendly trip.
No, it wasn't.
There are two ways to do it. You don't have to spend a lot of money at Disney to have a good time. They have value resorts. They have rooms. Like there's a special going on right now for the summer where you can get a room for $100 a night, which is a really good deal on Disney property. So you can take advantage of those deals and stay at those hotels. There are ways to save money. You don't have to do lightning lanes. You don't have to do the big dining meals, the reservations. You can do quick service. You can share meals. I eat kids' meals a lot to save money there. They get enough food. It's fine. But that's also the fun thing about Disney and why I like going so much is because it changes every time. There's 21 different hotel resorts on Disney property down there. So whatever hotel you're going, and they all have different themes, can completely change your trip because of the location you may be at. The theming's different. The pools are different. How close you are to certain parks will change. it changes your trip, and that also changes the budget. So you can do it on a budget, or you can spend a little bit more. It's just going to be dependent on how much you can afford, but your trip's going to look different, but it doesn't mean it's bad. It's still a good trip because you're going to Disney.
So you're saying that a trip on a budget would be equally as fun as an expensive trip?
It could be, yes.
Oh, what a concept.
Remember how I talked about buying convenience? You weren't with me, and I had a double stroller. Therefore, I did pay to stay at the hotels that were much closer to the parks, so I didn't have to deal with a double stroller on a bus. 100% hands down. So if you would have gone with me, I could have stayed at a cheaper hotel.
Oh, so it's all my fault.
Yeah, okay. So you can carry the double stroller on the bus.
Right. Okay. All right. So take me through the steps that you take to plan a trip.
I usually follow a bit of a plan when I'm planning something, especially myself. But even when I know I'm going to work with a travel agent, I still have like most of these steps I go through. And we're only going to cover about 2 of them on this episode. We'll cover the rest of them in future episodes. But the first couple things is, when do you want to go? What season, what time frame? That can change significantly about how your trip may look, depending on if you're going in the winter, summer, things like that. And then also, how long do you want to go for? Is it going to be a short trip? Are we talking like 2-3 nights? Is this going to be like a 10-day trip? Like you are splurging, like you're going for it. Where are you going to stay? That's a huge, huge decision that has to be made, because that is where everything kind of falls into place. So what kind of budget you have, how long you may be staying, it may all depend on how expensive those hotel rooms might be, or where do you want to stay? What's the availability like? And then what parks are you going to go to? There are 4 theme parks. You've got Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot, plus 2 water parks that are open in the summer. So there are a lot of different options for what parks you're going to. Are you going to go to some of them more than once? Plus there's Disney Springs that you can go to on top of that. And then what kind of tickets do you want to go to those parks? Do you want a park hopper? Do you want just a normal standard tickets? What about special ticketed events? You have the Halloween party, the 2 different Christmas parties, or the after hours events. So there's even more things to think about for that. And then you also have dining options. You can do the dining plan. There's 2 different options there. Are you going to try and bring your own food into the park to save money? Are you going to try and stay somewhere that has a kitchen so you can maybe make some of your food? I've done that before to help save money. And then also lightning lanes. This is probably one of the last steps, is lightning lanes and any other extras out there. Whether you're going to do something like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, the barber shop for the first haircut. I just did that with my daughter. It was awesome. There's special tours, behind the scene tours that you can do at Animal Kingdom with the animals, or at Living with the Land, the botanicals. There's the VIP tours. There's so many more extras that I haven't even named that I probably don't even know of that exist. So there's even more you can add on to your trip. And we're going to break all of those down. So yeah, let's start with what time of year.
Oh, good golly.
That's why we're doing this, breaking it down, because it is a lot when you say it like that. But when I think it's pretty manageable when you break it down into simple steps to make simple decisions about them.
Alrighty. So, you mentioned earlier about the time of year. Why does time of year matter?
First, if you're planning around a certain event, maybe you want to go for graduation, birthday, perhaps you're just going to go for spring break or Christmas. School schedules have a play into that. So that can help you determine what time of year. But I will say they're the 4 seasons with Disney. There's 4 distinct seasons. And we'll start with spring.
Are there literally 4 seasons in Florida?
There's probably like 1.5, maybe
fine.
2.5. But we'll start with spring, because that's where we are now. And most people think of spring, they're going to think of your spring break crowds. And that is very much true. You have your spring break crowds. They start mid-March to mid-April. It's probably the busiest the park will ever be. I myself will never probably ever go at that time frame, because it's just crazy busy, expensive to go at that time. But it's also good weather, and when a lot of people have the opportunity to go because of school breaks. Also, right before spring break happens, you have cheer camps that go down there, and there's cheer competitions. So you're going to have big groups of girls in the parks. I've been there when they've happened. They're really nice. They're sweet. It's fun to watch them. But there's large groups of girls roaming the parks, so it can be loud, very loud, especially if you're staying at one of the hotels they're staying at. The Run Disney event, there's Springtime Surprise that happens in the end of April. It's a 10-miler one, so maybe that's something that you're interested in. Spring is usually pretty good weather, so it does get warm, but that also means you can start taking advantage of the water parks or the pools, which you might not be able to do, maybe say in winter. And if you go after the spring break rush, there's actually pretty low crowds and you can get some pretty good deals starting at like the end of April and May. So it's not a bad time to go. And also during this time, Epcot is doing their Flower and Garden Festival. So I've never been to the festival. I've always been to it right before it actually officially starts. But this is where they have those beautiful topiaries all around Epcot depicting different characters and scenes from movies. They're beautiful. My kids loved looking at them when we went this past month. And they also have special festival foods out for you to try, drinks. I think there's merchandise shows that go along with those festivals. And then moving on into summer, this is when it's hotter than Hades in Orlando, Florida. There's no way around it. It's going to be hot. You're going to drown when you walk outside. You will instantly start sweating at like 6 a.m. It's Florida. It can be dealt with. There are ways to deal with the heat, whether you're taking a break midday to go back to your hotel and swim or just stay inside. There's a lot of shows you can do that are indoors at certain parks to help beat the heat. Maybe that's when you do a table service. So you're sitting down to eat lunch for an hour or two at noon. So there are ways to do it. And I will say summer is not the busy time for Florida, for Walt Disney World especially. It's actually one of the slower times because I think it's so hot. A lot of people try and avoid it, but it's also one of the cheapest times you can go to Disney. That's where you're going to find some of the best deals on tickets and hotels and other things that are happening. I would say that summer, if budget is what you're looking at, summer might be the time to go, just knowing that you probably need to bring some fans and some extra water bottles for that time frame, and just know that midday you're probably going to need a break, especially if you have young kids. So moving on to fall, this is where Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party happens. So this is the party that happens at Magic Kingdom. It starts at like 7 p.m. I think, and it's where you can go trick-or-treating in Magic Kingdom. You get a bag and you can go around to all the stops and the cast members will put candy in the bag. Adults can do it too. This is where everyone's actually allowed to wear costumes. So adults normally can't wear costumes in the park, but during the Halloween party they can. It is an extra ticket that you have to buy, but you do get into the park starting at 4 o'clock, which is nice. So you don't have to buy a ticket for that day if you're going to do the Halloween party. And it usually goes to like midnight, 1 a.m., something like that. The parks are all decorated in Halloween decorations, characters or special characters for the party. They're all dressed in Halloween outfits as well. Moving over to Epcot, the Food and Wine Festival is happening. So I know this is a pretty popular one because they have all the food booths with extra food and wine that you can get at Epcot. I have been to this one. It's fun. It's crowded around Epcot at the World Showcase for this festival, but you can find some pretty unique and good foods and some pretty good drinks as well. So I did enjoy that. It is still hot in the fall. So don't think that when you go in October, it's going to be cool. It can still be quite warm. I've gone in September myself, the first week of September twice now. I dealt with the heat. We were fine. Took a lot of breaks, but it's still warm in the fall. It is still very, very warm. And then probably my favorite time of year that I really want to go, and I have not been, is at winter time. So this is where they have two different Christmas parties, one at Magic Kingdom and one at Hollywood Studios. Everything is decorating Christmas decorations. All 4 parks have Christmas trees, like gigantic ones that are very unique to the park. Every resort, I think almost every resort has a Christmas tree as well. The lobbies are all decked out in Christmas decorations. It's so pretty. They have all their Christmas gear out. They'll have special Christmas food items as well that you can get. You don't have to go to the Christmas parties to get them at Magic Kingdom.
So when we go in January, I know it'll be after Christmas, but that's still winter. So does that count as going in winter?
No, because the only part that will still have Christmas decorations will be Magic Kingdom. And I think Epcot and Hollywood Studios might have their tree still up, but nothing else will be going on. Like all the resorts will have taken everything down. They won't have any Christmas parties and all the Christmas stuff will be.
So you want to go for Christmas, not winter?
I want to go. Well, Christmas parties start at the very beginning of November.
What?
Yes.
That is ridiculous. That's absurd. This is
No.
like department stores that put out Christmas stuff before
This
Halloween.
is crazy. So Halloween ends on October 31st, right?
Yes.
So what they do is between October 31st, so November 1st, that night, you could leave Halloween at Magic Kingdom, and you will walk in the next morning, and it'll be Christmas overnight. It is insane. They do it like overnight. They redecorate the entire park.
Good for them. Good for them. I'm sure it's a massive undertaking, but I wholeheartedly disagree with that because they're completely skipping a very important holiday that happens to be one of my favorites.
They still do Thanksgiving.
Not if they're going from Halloween on October 31st to Christmas on November 1st.
They'll have Thanksgiving, special Thanksgiving foods. I think they have a special Thanksgiving parade. I'm not 100% sure. But Thanksgiving, that day in Magic Kingdom, is one of the busiest days of the year. We can go for Thanksgiving.
I'm okay.
But with the winter, like Christmas decorations, like you said, Marathon Weekends happens. It's the week after New Year's. Christmas between New Year's, that week of Disney is, other than spring break, is the busiest time of year at Disney World. It's going to be crazy busy. But then it kind of dies off right after Marathon Weekend happens and gets pretty quiet. The 3-day weekends in there in January and February will be busy for those, but it's usually pretty quiet. Festival of the Arts happens at Epcot as well. It's the shortest one. It's only like 5 or 6 weeks long. That's where I would love to go to this one because this is where they have like the artists out. And if you buy their work, they like sign the back. So the Thomas Kincaid artists are there, which do a lot of the Disney art, and they'll like do drawings on the back. If you buy one of their paintings, it's really cool.
Is he still around?
No, Thomas Kincaid died, but his studio still exists with his like apprentice and people who were under him. Gotcha. They're carrying on the painter plate.
I see.
Which one would you go to? Which season?
I don't like the heat, so I suppose winter. It's not like it's going to be that cold. I'd go winter. I just don't want the heat.
Okay, let's go.
Well, we're going to. It's January, because January counts as winter.
Doesn't on Christmas.
Yeah. All right. So now that we've talked at length about what each season offers.
So much.
Oh, my. How long do you think people should stay?
That's really up to the person and their budget and their family and what they can do. I've done short trips. I've done a one night at Disney. I thought it was fun. We didn't do parks. We just stayed at Beach Club, enjoyed the pool, or maybe a couple days like we're doing. We're doing 3 to 4 nights.
That's not a couple. That's several. And let's clarify that.
Or maybe you want to do a massive stay. Maybe you want to do a 10-night stay. You want to knock off everything and do a whole bunch of bucket list things. This is your big trip you've been saving for years. It really just comes down to what you can afford. There's like a few things I would want you to think about, and it's with if you have kids, whether young kids or even like junior high age. We went for a 6-night trip. And so it was like 8 full days because we got there super early in the morning and left super late at night on that 8th day. And it was like a day too long with my kids at 2 and 5. We probably should have cut it 1 day shorter. Or we should have had a day in there where we did nothing. Like we just laid around the hotel room, stayed at the resort, swam, just chilled. So know your kids. And if you want to do a longer trip, think about, can they handle that? And is it worth that longer trip? Or should you keep it to like 3 or 4 days and then just save that money to come back at a different time when they're maybe a little bit older, or just so you can do something different? There's no wrong answer. It's what you can afford or what your kids can handle. And remember, kids don't know what they don't know. So if you don't tell them they're missing something, they're not going to know. They're just going to be ecstatic that they're going to Disney.
Okay, that all makes sense. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
So I've talked about budget and I've talked about deals a little bit. Deals happen throughout the year on hotel rooms, sometimes the dining plan and sometimes tickets as well. Like right now, they're having a few promos with tickets. But the thing is, if it's busier the time, less likely for a deal, or there are going to be blackout dates for those deals for that time frame. Sometimes you can stack the deals, sometimes you can't. You kind of have to read the fine print on those. But the big thing with the deals is that they don't release them like all at once. So they've just released deals for the summer, like maybe a week or two ago, right now in April. So once they get closer and through the summer months, then they'll release deals for the fall. And like it keeps going. So they kind of keep releasing them on a rolling basis when they're trying to fill rooms. So if you are worried about the price of something, you can still go ahead and book that room because you can retroactively apply any deals that come out in the future. If they get you a better deal, you can switch rooms that like the deal applies to. Don't be afraid to book it, or you want to wait to see what deals happen, because if you book it, sometimes those rooms have already sold out. And people who have already booked them can then just apply them to that room. It's only a $200 deposit to make any kind of reservation, and it's fully refundable. So if you, within 30 days, I'll give that caveat. So if you're within 31 days of your trip, you can cancel and receive all the money you've paid back. So that is helpful. You can make payments on the trip, which helps make it a little bit more budget friendly. So if you're waiting for a deal, I would say book the room you think you want. And then that way, if a deal doesn't happen, you can always switch rooms to something maybe more affordable, or to something different that does have a deal that fits better within your budget or for your family. And with those deals, sometimes you have to bundle the tickets in the dining plan or tickets in a room to get some of those deals. So you just have to look at it. This is where working with a travel agent can be really helpful, because they're going to know those things. There's a really good Disney Plus deal right now, but you have to make sure you have this thing selected. There's good ways. And then also, if you're in the military, just know that they always release, well, I don't say always, but recently they've been releasing the deals and the ticket prices in November, which if you're planning a trip in January, like for me, it's a little annoying because it's pretty close to the trip, but it's usually about the November timeframe that they release the military discounts and ticket prices for the next coming year.
All right. So as has been mentioned a few times, we are taking a trip to Disney in January, and it will be my first time going. I will be honest, I'm not really looking forward to it. No offense. But I do believe that one of the secrets to happiness in life is having low expectations.
Oh, I thought you were going to say happy wife.
Yeah, that too. So my expectations are incredibly low for this. So the odds are I'll probably end up having average time, maybe slightly above average. I don't know. And it is making you happy that I'm finally going to Disney. So low expectations and happy wife.
I'm just having fun because I am trying to plan a totally different style trip. Because normally when I plan a trip, it's either to make the kids happy, which usually I'm just going to be happy, or it's for me and my mom, or like Run Disney. So it's for like me and my friends. So this is a totally different, because now I'm trying to pick hotels that you would like, that aren't like over the top theming. I'm trying to like not go too long. This is a different style trip.
Well, geez, now that you say that you're planning this for me, I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to have an amazing time.
You better lie to your teeth.
Yes. I'm sure we'll do more episodes about that too, like a pre-episode regarding my feelings beforehand, and then a post-episode regarding how I...
So many ideas.
Oh my gosh. All right. Any closing thoughts for this episode?
Hopefully this just gets you started thinking about booking your trip. Whether, what time do you want to go? Are there any special reasons you want to go? Whether it's for a Christmas party like me, or if you want to do the trick-or-treating, which I know is really popular. If you're just going to have to go during spring break or the summer because of school. We'll talk about hotels, the park details, dining, lightning lanes, all of those things that kind of confuse people in future episodes. We'll see if Jesse continues to join us for this. But just remember, it only requires a $200 deposit if you're booking with Disney. And you can get it fully refundable. So if something changes, you can cancel and get all of that money back. Remember, this is all fluid. You can change your mind. Disney is actually a pretty flexible vacation.
Can I still change my mind?
No. Oh. That's a marriage requirement, not a Disney contract. You signed a contract. You are my property now.
I don't think that's what that word means.
Remember, it is all fluid. You can change your mind. Disney is flexible, which is nice because you don't always have that option with other vacations, being able to cancel just like a month out and getting everything back. Hopefully you like this episode. Please follow and subscribe. It really helps other families find us. And send this episode to someone you know who is planning a trip to Disney, or maybe who also has a spouse who does not want to go.
Maybe my enthusiasm for it will help them decide to make a trip too.
Until next time, thank you. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to Design for Adventure.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're following the show and leave a quick review. It really helps more families find us.
You can also find us on Instagram at Design for Adventure Pod and Facebook at Design for Adventure.
Until next time, don't be afraid to get out there and have an adventure.